For what reason do you believe this future will happen? You could say that about America. You could say that about Stanford. You could say that about NVIDIA. America has core foundations. We spoke a little bit about it. The American dream has a core foundation. There's a reason why it exists. There's a purpose that drives it. There's a promise of it. There are pillars that keeps it up. When you see the world from my lens, when you see America from my lens, and when you see America now today as I travel around the world and see America from the lens of everywhere I've been and the countries that aspire to be us, the industries that would aspire to want to be part of our industry, it is just genuinely a miracle.
It is a miracle. And I very often, I teach young people, of course. And sometimes I think that some of this has gotten lost. There is something about this risk-taking, this willing to fail, the fact that you are in a place where you'll get a second chance, the role of free speech, the role of laws that are reliable, that is really quite extraordinary.
Exactly. We have a word for that. We call it freedom.
We call it freedom. And that freedom has enabled so much.
That's right.
What would you say to these young people? Because there is, unfortunately, right now, among my students, there's a kind of fearfulness. There's a kind of sense of, I'm not going to be able to achieve those things. Maybe this world, whether it's I won't have a job because of AI, or is that American dream still really there? What would you say to them?
I would always retreat back to first principles. I would always reason from first principles. When I'm uncertain about the future, when things are moving too fast, you always go back to first principles. What are my core values? What makes me great today? Right. What do I aspire for? And to go back to that. I would say to young people that it's possible to have multiple feelings at the same time. It's possible to be grateful for everything that you have, to be unsatisfied with where we are at, and to have aspirations for greatness. You're allowed to have all of those feelings at exactly the same time. Doing technology change, doing world change, is the only opportunity for greatness. Status quo, it's really hard to make a difference. And so I would deeply dive into the capabilities of artificial intelligence and use it in every possible way. And it's not just about mastery of science, but it's about mastery of using artificial intelligence in my field of science. Your purpose, if you decide to go into medicine, is to care for people. It's different than studying a radiology scan. Your purpose as an engineer is to either solve a known problem or discover problems that have never been solved, that are worthy to be solved. There's a fundamental difference between the tasks that we do in our job versus the purpose of our job. Everybody's purpose, every job's purpose, surprisingly, consists of tasks, but not defined by the tasks.
Let's talk about AI actually,
Yeah.
because you are foundational now to that entire revolution.
Yeah.
But you're an optimist about the technology.
Cautious optimist.
Describe for me cautious optimism, because there's some people who are kind of, we've lived in the Valley a long time. There are people who are kind of wild-eyed optimists as well.
Yeah.
But talk to me about what cautious optimism means and how you think about that.
Yeah. Intelligence is foundational to every aspect of society, every aspect of industry, everything we endeavor. In almost everything that we do, the fundamental ingredient is intelligence. Now, of course, we have to be cautious. We have to be cautious so that we advance the technology as quickly as we can so that it works as we promised, so that it's functional as we expect, so that it doesn't produce intelligence that sounds like it's intelligence, but it's not. It's flawed. Functional things are safer. I want my car to function as promised. AI needs to function as promised.
What, when you think about this whole question internationally and the like, concerns you about where we are now?
I think that one of the challenges is to define what is AI. That is probably one of the most, there's a lot of different ways to think about the technology, but one way to think about it is it's like a 5-layer cake, and we have to win every single layer. The first layer is just energy,
Yes.
land, power, and shell.
Yeah.
First layer. Second layer is the chips in layer where I'm at. The third layer is the infrastructure layer, which is kind of like cloud services. The next layer above that is the AI model layer. This is where everybody talks,
Yes. Right.
but it's not the only layer. Everything about that layer is very important. But ultimately, the most important layer to our nation is the layer above that, which is the application layer.
Right.
Using AI for healthcare, using AI for military applications, using for defense, for cybersecurity, using AI for transportation, for manufacturing. That is what's going to drive our industry forward. But I do think that our nation also has to be very alert that this is a very important time. And although we are ahead, although we are the world leader, during an inflection in technology is exactly when leadership can change. And that we have to make sure that as we come up with policies, we don't hinder the most important layer, which is the highest layer, the application layer.
Right.
That is the layer that whoever advances that layer most will exploit this industrial revolution the most.
Somebody comes here from Taiwan. They're 9. They end up in Kentucky, of all places.
Yeah.
They somehow go to Oregon State because their friend goes to Oregon State and the family's there. And then they go to Stanford because somebody will pay for it. You meet a collection of people who are kind of intellectual
Geniuses.
but they're a push on your own intellect.
That's right.
You found
I'm the busboy at Denny's that met up with Chris and Curtis, the two geniuses. I mean, that's how the story goes.
That's the story, right?
Yeah.
And you found this company on an idea. So while before this idea actually shows that you were right, does that happen only in America because of some of those foundational institutions, ideas that you talked about?
I think that it's a chain of extremely low probability events that leads to NVIDIA.
Yeah.
And without the tailwind that America provides tailwind, not headwind. You know, it provides tailwind, laws and rules that are understandable and that you can count on. A business environment, an industrial environment with people playing by the rules that you can understand and count on. You know, when everybody's playing by the rules, because the rules and laws are for good reason, then at least you could find where there are segments of the market that are underserved, and that you can rely on that. You can rely on the fact that you can create something great and take it to market in a way that serves a market that has a demand, and that it wouldn't be foreclosed on you randomly, arbitrarily, unknowingly, you know, unpredictably. Those things that entrepreneurs rely on, you know, are alive and well here.
Yeah.